Well, welcome back to Talk Durham. Tonight, we're talking about teens and technology mainly. Our phone lines are open at 1-888-764-3778. That's 1-888-ROGERS-8. Now, joining us now is Aleks Matiatsa. Did I get that right?
Yes,
Aleks Matiatsa. He is an IT consultant, IT expert, and software engineer, and has been for about 30 years.
About that.
Now, you've got 30 years of experience in the field.
Yes.
You know, it was interesting really talking to the teens just about how connected they always feel like they must be. You and I grew up in an age where that kind of connection, I mean, to me it was letters, knocking on somebody's door, and a landline.
Exactly.
Is it hard, because you've made your living in this field, hard for us to imagine how far we've come in a relatively short time?
Yes, in a relatively short time. People have a certain sense of you know, alienation if they're not connected, and it's actually you just feel that you're not connected, and then something could be happening that's very important to you. It's very important to control that, and
otherwise
you'll start getting
panic attacks.
Exactly.
If kids lose their phone.
Sure.
You know?
Exactly. So I myself don't SMS anymore because it just takes too long, and the way I communicate with messaging, mostly globally, because I have family in Europe. My dad's currently on vacation in Asia, so I need to communicate slightly differently than the way the teens do. Unfortunately, I have 3 or 4 programs for communication running on my smartphone at the same time, and I could get a connection from anybody at any time, and they have no idea whether I'm in a meeting, whether I'm having dinner, or whether I'm in a bathroom. They really don't know. All they can see is that I'm online, and they need to communicate to me. So it's a different type of a communication mechanism other than simple messaging.
Would you agree, though, that the technology, I guess, is evolving at a faster rate?
Oh, like absolutely.
Every year?
Absolutely. Every year, every month, every day. There are a variety of software and hardware startups that really just want to make money, essentially, as they should. They're a business enterprise, and that's what they want to do. So the things do change very quickly, and there is really not too much anybody can do about that. The important thing is to filter out the type of technology that you don't need and is not relevant to your life, and the kind of things that can reduce stress. Reducing stress is one of the most important things in communication.
Because all this technology is supposed to help us stay connected, reduce anxiety, reduce stress.
It does,
but from what I'm hearing from some of these teens, it's causing more stress and anxiety.
Yeah, for them perhaps it is. For me personally, I found that it actually reduces stress because I know everything that's going on in my household. My wife, my son, who is a teen, he's in high school, he's in grade 9. So for me, it's very important to know that that whole world is functioning as it should while I'm at work. So that kind of a communication, being able to find out that everything is okay at home, my son made it home on time, that he didn't go somewhere. So getting that kind of a feedback and knowing that it reduces my personal stress.
So that, I mean, that's a positive impact on today's society.
Absolutely.
Would you think overall, if you have to, you know, put them on the scales, is technology overall having a positive or a negative impact on the pace of today's society?
If used wisely, if used as a true mechanism for reducing stress, just by knowing that everything is okay with your life, with people that are involved with you, everything from your work to family and so on, distant relatives, that you know that everything is fine. It will reduce your stress so you can concentrate more on your job, or in case of teens, hopefully on their study. So they can concentrate on that instead. So once you know that all of that communication is okay, stress is down, things are good.
So that's the positive
aspect.
That's a positive.
The negative aspect of it is that, you know, things are continually buzzing around you. It does not allow you to concentrate on a problem and to work on something in a rather deep, consistent manner.
Because that's what, you know, when we were talking to actually Christian and Alp at the beginning of the show, my question was, you got all these alerts going on and all these, you know, oh, you have another message, you know, ding, 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 all day. How do you focus on one thing? And that's not just a problem for teens,
I know, that's a problem for me as well. You know, I've got on my smartphone, I've got Skype, I've got Google Talk, I've got 2 or 3 other communications programs that could go off at any time. I simply turn the buzzer off, and while I'm concentrating and working on something, I do not let it disturb me.
You've got to train yourself.
You've got to train yourself to just say,
put it down.
You know, that Facebook update, really, the world will not change if you don't read it right away.
So you've got to prioritize.
Yes.
You've got to prioritize.
Exactly.
We have a call tonight. We have Steve from Ajax, I believe, is on the line. And thanks for joining us, Steve.
Hello.
Do we have Steve?
Yeah.
Hi, Steve. How are you? Thanks for calling Talk Durham. What's your question or your comment for tonight?
Well, I have 2 questions.
Go ahead.
I was wondering, what do you think technology is doing to our day and age, like our younger society?
Oh boy, that's a big,
how old are you, Steve?
question. Yeah, how old are you?
19.
You're 19. What do you think it's doing?
Yeah, good question.
I think it's worsening it.
Why? What? Talk about your personal experience.
Well, just because like when you go to hang out with your friends, sometimes they just don't come with you guys. They're so like preoccupied.
So even when you're there with them, they're texting, they're there, but they're not there?
Yes. You
know, that's just rude, actually. That's actually a matter of basic politeness, in my opinion. If I had a piece of paper and you started talking to me, I started ignoring you and started drawing things on a piece of paper. It doesn't matter whether it's a piece of paper or if it's a BlackBerry.
Or whether you're picking up a BlackBerry.
It doesn't matter. It's a matter of just some basic manners.
Do you find you run out of things to talk about with your friends too, Steve, once you finally do get together?
I don't really think so. I think that it's more like, I don't know, it's just sort of they just already stated most stuff, so you still have some stuff to talk about, but they don't seem to really care about it.
It's like they've almost got so much to say, and they want to be so many places at one time. They're obviously there with you, but it's like they want to be in another place at the same time, you think?
Yeah, I think that's right. But I have a second question.
Yeah,
I was just wondering, why my microwave won't cook my Jamaican patty.
Why it won't what?
Cook his food.
Oh, I don't know. Call the repair.
That's right, yeah.
Thanks for calling.
Nobody repairs anything. People just toss things away.
No, that's right. We're in a disposable society
Yeah.
where nothing gets fixed anymore because nobody can fix it anymore.
Exactly.
What specific groups of people do you think are most affected by technology today?
Obviously the teens, because it's available to them. It's right there. Actually, my son, who I refused to give him a smartphone, he's got a dumb phone. He told me that he's embarrassed in school to use it.
Oh, really?
And he's been eyeing my wife's iPhone, the older one, and he really wants it, but I told him, no way, no how.
Now, why do you refuse to give your son the smartphone?
Couple of things. He's only in grade 9.
Yeah.
He's just turned 15. The amount of self-control when it comes to little games and watching YouTube videos, and I just don't think that he has the maturity to not use it when he's not supposed to.
So you don't end up with a $3,000 bill like Kayla's parents did.
Yeah. He doesn't text. Actually, he has a friend who used to live close to us who has moved away, and he Skypes with him on a regular basis on a laptop. So, you know.
So there's a case where it's really.
Oh yeah, and they were very close friends, and he moved away, and they do communicate on Skype.
And you said your father is far away. So
actually, it's kind of interesting. My dad, who's 80 years old, has gone on a trip to Europe first to visit family in Europe, and then they told him, hey, why don't we all go to Bali? So he goes, oh, that's a good idea. Let's all go to Bali. So
he's gone to Bali.
So he's gone to Bali, yeah. And today at work, I had Google Talk turned on my iPhone, and all of a sudden my dad comes on and he says, hey, how you doing? What time is it there? And I told him, well, you know, it's 2 o'clock and this. Is your hotel okay? Yes. Everything okay with you and family? I said, yeah, everything is fine. So he seemed quite relieved by that everything is good, everybody's fine. So his stress level is down. So everything is okay. My younger brother, who's living with him, is he okay? I said, yeah, I talked to him a few days ago. Everything is fine there as well. So knowing that everything is okay at some remote location seems to give people, and my dad, who's 80 years old, it gives him a sense of calmness, which is, I think, important.
How difficult is it, do you think, for seniors to get involved in this technological age?
Sure. Actually, it's not that bad at all. It used to be, there was this fear from and a justifiable fear from seniors of even a few years ago, where they would always ask you a question, oh, what happens if I press the wrong button?
Yeah.
That's the typical question. And the issue here is that software that's designed properly, it shouldn't matter. If it's done well, it doesn't matter what button you press that's wrong. With the advent of tablets, they are so easy to use. I was reading about a lady who is 99 years old, and she wrote a poem, and she sent her first email at the age of 99, and I think that's just wonderful. So a lot of tablet-type devices are being purchased for seniors by their kids, who are grown people. So these people tend to be able to communicate all of a sudden in a brand new way that they couldn't do before. And with a tablet, tablets are so simple that you cannot mess them up the way you could a normal
I don't know. I've heard some tablets are so
really?
some makes of tablets are so difficult.
You know, we're on TV here, so I don't want to mention.
No, we're not going to mention.
We're not going
to mention brand names, but
yeah. So my dad has always loved gadgets since he was young, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm in the business that I am, because he loved technology, any kind of a technology that was available to him, even 40, 50 years ago, he just loved it. So I kind of hung out with him a lot, obviously, so I got into it as well, and it just kind of follows generationally.
It seems to me that the older generations, it's a stress-reducing factor.
Yeah.
From what I hear, the younger ones, it's go, 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 and it's more stress. I'm going to hold you there. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more on Talk Durham right after this.
Sure.
Aleks, you are wonderful. Thank you so much. And welcome back to Talk Durham. Tonight, we are talking about teens and technology. Is more pros, more cons? Is it making our life easier, or is it just creating more stress? And Christian is back with us to join us for the last 15 minutes. Also, if you have a call, join in the conversation. We really would like to hear from you. 1-888-ROGERS-8 is the number to call. So while we wait for the people to call and get on, let's talk about why technology has changed so much in the past, let's say 25 years, and how has it changed from what it was 5 years, 10 years, 20, 25. I mean, I remember, and don't laugh, Mr. Christian, sir, my first cell phone was a Motorola, and it was this big with the huge antenna.
Yeah. Hopefully it didn't hold it to your head for very long, for many extended periods of time.
No,
I don't know what the radiation laws were like back then, you know, so
let's talk about how quickly it's changed and how much it has changed. Because certainly you never would have carried a phone that was this big, would you?
Yes, you would.
I'd be a lot stronger if I did that.
If that was the only phone you had now, you would be carrying it.
You would.
Well, you know, people just want to make things smaller and smaller and smaller. As the electronics manufacturing technology gets better, they can actually make things smaller and smaller. And when they make things smaller and smaller, they can make more of them for less money. And once you do that, their profit margin increases. And which business does not want to increase their profit margin? So just by miniaturizing something and making it extremely small, it is much cheaper to manufacture and much cheaper to logistics, delivery, everything is cheaper.
Yeah, but I mean, what's big now, of course, is the smartphones.
Yeah.
You have a smartphone, Christian.
Yeah.
Correct? Right. So there you go. I mean, and the iPhone's pretty heavy. Like the smaller little flip phones that I just switched mine,
sure.
You know, to an iPhone 4.
Well, people expect more from them, so the battery is stronger. You know, sometimes I curse my smartphone. I say, why does it last only one day?
Yeah.
Well, that's because I'm not using it as a phone. I'm using it as a computer. I check my emails. I receive calls from Bali.
Yeah.
I receive, you know, I do web browsing. I do all kinds of things. I play games on the subway because I'm bored.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I'm using it as a computer. I'm not using it as a phone. So treating a smartphone as a phone is actually is a misnomer. It's actually a small computer and you should be thinking of it that way, not as a phone, but as a computer.
Okay. We've got a call from Shane on the phone. Shane, hi, and welcome to Talk Durham. What's your question?
Hi, I was wondering what you guys think of the impact of technology on society in the way of things like texting and driving and things like that.
Yeah. Do you guys ever text and drive?
Never, ever. I'm terrified of texting and driving because statistics told me that
you will get in trouble.
It's like worse than drinking and driving.
Yeah.
What are your chances of crashing?
It is.
Yeah, and one of my heroes, Ryan Dunn, died like a year ago from drinking and driving, so...
Oh, I'm sorry, Christian.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's just, he's from Jackass. You know that guy with the beard?
Oh.
You're not up on your Jackass movies.
Apparently I'm not. Remember?
Yeah.
You called me the dinosaur before in the first segment.
Yeah.
But as far as texting, I don't even understand how people can try and text and drive.
Actually, with a smartphone, it's actually not that bad because you don't have to hit the button exactly. If you're texting in English,
oh, look at you.
If you're texting in English, it can predict. If you, for example, say the word the or they, if you type in THE and you even come close to letter Y, it's going to press letter Y for you because it knows you're typing in English. So it does make it somewhat easier, but it should not be done. Absolutely not. I mean, people
is there really any text that is that important that you can't wait until you've pulled over?
Yeah, really, there shouldn't be, really.
Christian?
I don't know. You got a wheel when you got a wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that one.
Thank you so much, Shane, for joining us on Talk Durham. Okay. Let's talk about what you think the future of technology will be like. Right now, we know what it is. What can Christian look forward to when he's like 30?
Well, me and him.
Well,
and
you, yes. Oh, I won't be 30.
Well.
I'll be a lot older, but
not me. I'll get younger. But anyway, everything is just going to get smaller. It's going to go into places where you don't expect to find it. Hopefully, you will be connected and you will be able to eliminate the all the noise, filtering things that are not important to you. There are some rather disturbing trends that I really don't like. That is some particular large search engine that everybody's familiar with, and I don't want to use their name, has designed a product, like a glasses product.
That's right, Kayla was mentioning that.
That's right. Now, how long do you think before, if you wear these glasses, that advertising is going to start appearing on the glasses as you're walking through a mall? Do you really want to see that?
What do you think of that idea?
I think that's cool. You'd be like an Android man. Like you could just be on your...
But how distracting would that be? Think about it, though.
I know. It'd be
Think
kind
about
of
this.
like a video game.
Yeah, let's say you're walking through a mall, okay, and you're walking beside let's say a game store. All of a sudden, advertising starts popping up and talking to you about, hey, we have a discount of 10% on a particular game that you don't even care about.
Yeah, it's kind of like the texting and walking thing. Like it could end up.
Yeah,
like you guys were saying.
Exactly, and you start concentrating on whatever it is that you're seeing. I mean, I understand you have vision that's going to let you keep walking while you're reading. I don't know, that's a skill that we may have to learn.
I don't know.
But I really don't like the idea of things just popping up in advertising, showing you, latest sale on something. There's also another issue, and that is issue of, let's you upload pictures to Facebook?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do? Well, that content belongs to them.
Yeah.
It's not yours anymore. They can do with it whatever they like.
Yeah, that's okay.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not uploading pictures that I really care. Like, if they own them, they can do whatever they want with them, obviously.
But it's your personal picture.
It's your personal picture.
My personal picture for like 600 plus people that I barely know to see. So if I'm gonna put something on Facebook, like the thought goes through my head, everyone's gonna see this.
Right.
So I'm obviously not gonna put up something.
But
like
you know what?
really bad.
I would not say that you're in the majority. I would say you're in the minority thinking that. I think the majority of people don't realize, you know, what could happen to those pictures.
Who owns that? Who owns that?
Who
they can do
owns
with it
that?
whatever they want.
And how embarrassing, because we all know people that have put up very embarrassing pictures on Facebook.
Actually,
they could take back.
There's a big issue with employers asking for you to friend them so they can look at your pictures.
Yeah.
So let's say you have a particularly good party where you put on funny little hats and you dance around, and there you go. And then you want to find a good job at Rogers, and they say, oh, you want to see what you do in your part-time. Why not? I'm not saying that Rogers would do that, but I'm just saying any employer may want to see that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, well, you have to realize that if you're going to put something on the internet, the entire world can see it. Like if I put a video on YouTube, it's not only YouTube that sees it. If I type the video in, it comes up on all these weird like Japanese sites and stuff. So like people all over the place are seeing it. So I don't know, you have to realize if you're going to put something dumb on the internet, like deal with the consequences.
Yeah, exactly.
But do you know a lot of people that don't think about that before they do that?
Yeah.
And then they can't take it back.
Yeah, girls do that sometimes.
Essentially, it comes down to do not post anything that you wouldn't feel comfortable standing in front of a bunch of people and saying to them while they all look at you.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, keep that in mind. Now, we've got some great stats that our producer, David Scala, brought up for us. So if we can bring that up. I think there we go, frequency of visitation to social networking sites by country. Look who's on top, South Korea. Does that surprise you, Alex?
Actually, it does.
And Japan is down there at 9%, less than Canada, Russia 1%.
Actually, I was reading that about Japan, because people in Japan tend to value FaceTime much more than some kind of a social thing on a computer. They traditionally favor that more. And then we also have some interesting stats on what teens versus adults use their smartphones for. Okay. So teenagers do more social networking, no surprise there. Listening to music, playing games, taking photos, instant messaging, downloading apps, and watching TV and film. Right. So no surprise there, really? Or any surprise for you, Christian?
Not a surprise at all. That's what I use my phone for.
So, but adults, we did have that for adults. Let's see what adults. Email, so there's the business that gets into this. Internet surfing. Right. GPS, maps, because we all know where we're going. Where we're going, Picture messaging, just general news, watching video clips, and watching sports news. Yeah, that's so what does that say to you? Well, it tells me that, people tend to, this is a whole separate thought. We could have a show just about email. Yeah. The problem with email is people really think that this is some kind of a guaranteed delivery. Mm-hmm. I sent you an email, you must have received it. No, email is a best attempt. And I'm talking about traditional internet email. Yeah. So it's a best attempt to deliver the mail. That's number one. Number two, people seem to think, I said something to you in email, and you have the email, and it's legal now. I can, if you do something, I know that I've notified you. Emails can be faked. Email headers can be faked. Mm-hmm. So receiving an email and printing off an email and showing it to a judge, I'm really not too sure what the legalities around that are, because all of that can be faked. Whereas texting, messaging, instant messaging? SMS messaging, to the best of my knowledge, cannot be faked. Mm-hmm. Although there are some websites and some technologies where you can get an anonymous number or something fake. There's some of that as well. But generally, email can be faked. And it is not a guaranteed delivery. Mm-hmm. So people tend to forget. We only have about 30 seconds left. Actually, 15 seconds left. Ooh. So I have to ask both of you, on the whole, if you took a look at technology and how far we have come. More pros, more cons? Pros. More pros, absolutely.
Gotta love technology.
No kidding.
Not just because of technology, but because it will reduce your stress if used properly.
If used properly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So Aleks, Christian, our thanks also to Alp, and Brittany and Kayla, and thanks to you for watching Talk Durham and joining in our discussion. Until next time, I'm Deborah Hutchison. Thank you.